Scrappin with Sheri and project recipe number 9. Now, I'm not even going to pretend that this one is going to be a quick and easy and I'm going to follow all the directions. Let me tell you quickly how I did come about the paper choices I'm using. For Christmas, we bought my son-in-law and daughter and granddaughter tickets to see the Boston Celtics play. They were going to be in New Orleans. And so I've chosen my papers based on the colors in the picture somewhat. Now, I keep seeing this bright blue, and there's a part of me that wants to bring that in, but I really want to keep it more Boston Celtics colors. So I've pulled this anthracite shimmer. This is an old paper. I think it was from a paper buffet. I pulled this grassy green, and I realized there's nothing to do with grass on here, but most of that's going to be covered anyway, and I felt like the color was really good with my pictures. And then I pulled, and just so you know, this is from one of the school collections, maybe back to school or something like that. And then I pulled the court floor, which is also from one of the school collections. So that's how I arrived at the colors I'm choosing. I also chose this white speckled paper. Again, this was from a paper buffet. I think it's called Stardust White, but I chose it as my very main background where it tells us that we're going to have a piece of cardstock and a piece of designer papers. My sketch is not going to be anything like this. So let me tell you what I'm looking at. When I look at this, I want the court floor to be the border here, here, and here, and here. So when I'm looking, those are all peach colored pieces. It is, let's see, C, D, E, and F. So right now I'm going to cut C, D, E, and F because those are the court floor pieces that I want for this paper. So I am going to cut it with my court floor going across the page because that makes the most sense here. And C, D, E, and F, I've got 2 that are 2 inches wide. This is kind of a backwards way to approach a project recipe, I guess, instead of doing all your cuts first. So I've got 2 that are 2 inches wide, and then I have 2 that are 1 inch wide. All right, so those pieces are cut. And when I look at my sketch, the 2 widest ones are going on the bottom. The 2 narrower ones are going on the top. But then let's see how I want to add to that. So that was using peachy designs. And it does show 2 peach little tags right there, which I like. So that's G and H. Let's cut those tags. And those are 1.5 by 2.5. So I need the 1.5 width, and then the 2.5 length, and I need that 2 times. Now, if you have not cut tags just using your trimmer, it's not a hard thing to do. You just kind of crease the end of it. You don't want to make a hard crease in it. And just go down to your open edge from the middle fold. Yeah, I didn't get it in there very well. So we've got that little banner on there. Again, you're just gonna fold an edge. And you're cutting from the middle fold down to your points that are open edges. And these are not going to be perfectly the same. I can guarantee that. But I've got those 2 little banners done. All right, so we're finished with that piece of paper. And most of those cuts I did. I just didn't do these right here. So let's go back and see what else we like about this. I do think I want my mats mainly in the green. So that's going to be the blue pieces. Let's look at the blue pieces. We've got a 1 by 12, and it says punched border. I don't want this a punched border. And then we've got the mats. So let's go ahead and cut those pieces with the green. And this is not directional. So I need 2 strips that are 1 by 12. And then I'm going to cut a 4.5 by 6.5. So a 4.5 width. And those two are exactly the same, so I'm going to do them together. We're going to go to 4.5 again. And then it shows me that one of these is 6.5 and one is 5.5. So I'm going to do the 5.5 because I don't have to pop the arm out. And I have 2 5.5s and 2 6.5. So all the green pieces are cut. Now let's go back one more time and see where we are at this point in time. We've still got this anthracite color, and that's going to be the yellow. So here it shows border, 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 border. So we've got these little borders. I went ahead and pre-cut my borders using my border maker system. And I didn't have a border that was real basketballs, but I liked the circulature of this. So the punch that I used, the cartridge, is called Circle Chain. And I like that. I think it's a good contrast with the other two that I've got going there. And the other yellow pieces on this page, they're going to be 2 banners, 2 little mats here, and then 2 photo mats. So let's look at our yellow. We don't need all these little strips because we're using our borders for that. So we need a 4.5 piece. And that's 4.5 by 3 and 4.5 by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those 3-inch ones. And then we turn this back around and we've got this 6-inch piece, and it's going to be 2 1/4 wide. And we'll have 2 of those. 2 1/4 and 2 1/4. Remember, these are 6 inches long. All right, so we've got those little pieces. The only thing left are our little banners here. And those are 1 3/4 wide. Now, I think I told you last time, the first number is the width. 1 3/4 wide. That's a scrap. And then we need the 3-inch long. I'm going to do 2 of those that are 3 inches long. So you saw me do the banner one way just a second ago. Let me show you another way that you can do that little banner cut if you don't have the punch that does the banner cut. So instead of trying to put it in your trimmer, you can actually just fold to make your center mark and then cut straight up through the middle. And then cut from corner to the center. And that also gives you the banner. So I hope you've learned a couple of different options today from making those little banners. Now let's lay this out and see where we are. All right, so we've got a strip here, a strip here. I'm not going to tape these down just yet because I want to make sure of how my coloring is going to look. And then this is here. I've got the 2 wider strips along the bottom. And then the basketball strip is going to go over that at some point. I can't decide if I want to split the difference on that. Yeah, I do think I kind of like that. Especially when it's taped and it's really in the right position. And then we'll have another strip here and here. Or another border, sorry. I didn't have any basketball borders. I don't even have any basketball embellishments, I don't think. So this page is going to be more about the paper aspect than any of the embellishment things. And then when I'm looking at my sketch, my 4x5 photo is going to go here with a mat below that. My 6-inch photos are going 4x6s are going here with these longer dark strips above that. I thought I had cut it wrong, but it's right. I didn't actually have those the same size. And it's pretty much just mirrored side to side. And then we've got our little banners down at the bottom. Let's see how those look. And it looks like these come right out from under the edge of this photo. And I might actually layer these, just because when I put the wood grain one down, it's right against that wood grain below, and there's not enough contrast there. So if I layer these, you can see them a lot better. And we were talking at my in-person crop in early February about how these sketches are great and they look really awesome, but there's nothing like putting the pictures on them. You know, they're not complete until you get some pictures. So let me show you the pictures I have and how it changes the whole look of this sketch once you put photos on. So because we gave them this trip to the basketball game as a Christmas present, yeah, that one's going to need to go that way, they had to take pictures for me. And I told them, I better get some really good pictures from this event. So they were good. They got family pictures. They got pictures of the court. It looks like my granddaughter is not having a good time, but they said she really did love it. It was just her bedtime early on in the game, but she managed to stay awake for all of it. She did like the snacks, of course. And we've got that. Look how different it looks once you get the pictures on. It really makes a big difference. And for some of you, this green grassy look probably would bother you. I'm okay with that. It kind of looks like confetti to me. The thing that bothers me the most is these two blank spaces here, because I have no embellishments to put on there. If you look, what they used was big letters to say happy birthday. So I think I could put Celtics basketball or something there, but I'll have to cut that out on my machine. So here's the basic layout. What would you change if you were going to change any of this? Leave me a drop in the comments and let me know what you would change about this. But I think I'm pretty pleased with it. And that's another 2 pages in our family album done for this year. You will see the finished version in the pictures. So look to see what I did with the letters. I'm excited to play with this later on. Until I see you next time, happy scrapping.